Well, good Monday morning to you. Trucker Todd here, and time for another video. All right, folks, it's Monday. I hope you guys are all off to a great week. Hope your weekend was good. Got a lot to talk about today. Probably the video that people regarding the camera have wanted the most since we started on this journey with Swift. I'm going to give a little bit of backstory and try to explain all this as best as I can. And then we're going to talk about this camera. I turned on all the coaching techniques that were available on this camera, and I'm going to give you my first impressions of those. But before I do, I want to remind you guys, Tuesday, 5 p.m., we're going to be starting a new weekly live called Tuesday Trucker Talk. I can't wait to tell you about it. With the thousands and thousands of YouTube channels there are, I'm sure somebody else is doing this in the trucking community. However, I'm not aware of anybody. So I hope you'll join me then. We're going to keep that one short, probably 30 or 45 minutes at the most, and unless we just get a ton of questions or something like that. And I can't wait to introduce you to Tuesday Trucker Talk. But before we do today's video about the Samsara camera, you guys give me a thumbs up. Share this video on your social media platforms. Look down in the description below for a lot of other great information. As you guys know, I love it here at Swift. It's got information about how to apply at Swift. Save yourselves a lot of headaches. A lot of guys are trying to Google it and apply themselves, and they're just either filling out the wrong application or it's not getting in the right hands and they're having a lot of trouble. Just trust me, the easiest way to do it is to follow the information in my description below. For those that don't know how to do it, you click the title and it'll drop down a bunch of information. All right, also, I mentioned sharing it on Instagram, all of that. There's ways you can contribute to the channel if you'd like to do that. My Instagram, Facebook, all of that's down there. And so my email's there. Just a lot of great information, and I hope you'll take just a few minutes to check it out. Perhaps while you're watching this video, you can still listen while you're down there looking around. But that's enough of that. Let's cue up the music and get into today's topic. Here we go.
And this is why I do this, why I'm out here, why I keep that hammer down, flying by these road signs with home on my mind. These wheels turning round for my family and for my kids, for this life I wanna live. And this is why I do this.
Alrighty, we're back. And so you guys might remember a few weeks, actually it's probably been a couple of months ago now, Swift's insurance changed, and they said if you wanted to have Swift's insurance that you would have to have a camera installed. You guys know I love dash cams, but my concern is that I want to be in charge of the footage. So I went out and got my own insurance. And a lot of people have been confused about this. This is why I'm bringing this back up. I went out and got my own insurance, so I didn't have to have any camera if I didn't want to. Now, just remember what I said a few minutes ago. I actually like dash cams. So I decided, this channel was founded on helping other people. I decided picking one of their Swift cameras and testing it might be a good option for guys that couldn't get their own truck insurance for whatever reason. Now, I've been attacked like crazy for this. It's funny. People will tell me I'm not really an owner-operator. I'm not really self-employed. But as soon as I start doing owner-operator things or self-employed things, people attack me. And so I've got my own insurance. That's pretty owner-operator. I do have input in my own loads. I am beta testing a load board. So for those of you that think I'm not this or I'm not that, or you're trying to put me in some kind of category or some kind of box, I would say maybe you don't have the complete picture or you don't fully understand what's going on. But anyway, I've put videos out about the insurance. And any of you that still need that information can either go back and check out the videos or email it. I'll send it to you. I'm not making anything off that insurance. And, you know, there's other guys that have a YouTube channel that they've said, you know, they're all about saving money. And my insurance so far to date is the cheapest. And they're trying to research and find another way. And now they're saying, even if we find something that's more expensive, we're going to do that just so we don't have to use Todd's insurance. That's fine, but don't turn around and preach about how you're saving money and about the bottom line if you're just wanting to spend more money because you've got a beef with me. It's your money, spend it how you want to. But we're not going to talk about insurance in this video. What we're going to talk about, and some people were messaging me, man, Todd, in that video you looked mad. I'm not mad, I'm just frustrated. We've got good people doing bad things because their egos are hurt, and that's okay. But anyway, I got this Samsara. It's a CM-31 model. They do make a CM-32 model, which has an inward facing camera and a lot more features. I didn't want to do that because even the outward facing camera, which is all I'd ever agree to anyway, is pretty expensive. You're going to spend a little over $1,500 for it. Now that does include 3 years of service, and I bought some optional stuff, so I was a little over $1,600 all in. That includes shipping, tax, everything. I installed it and I ran it a while with no coaching parameters on, and I got on there and looked at the videos, and I even did a video where I showed you all those videos in daytime and nighttime. You can go check out those videos too. And I was really impressed with it, but I wanted to try it with the coaching things, because for those of you that are going to have it on there and a company might use it to coach you, it's pretty important how sensitive that stuff is. And this is going to surprise you. Some of those coaching features I actually liked. So let's start with the microphone. Every Samsara camera has a microphone. It can be turned on or off. Now on their website, they say that it gives you a notification when it's recording. I did not find that to be the case. I accidentally turned it on and it recorded me, and so I did get to hear the audio. It is pretty good. So if that's maybe if you're a fleet owner or something and you want to listen to your drivers badmouth you or talk about your equipment or something, you could sure turn that on and listen to what they got to say. The camera, as I said, was great. But how about these coaching features? And there's a lot I want to unwrap here. There's lots you can do with it. One coaching feature I did like is the voice coaching. You can set this camera up to where if you're speeding down a hill, let's say, maybe you're singing with the radio and you're doing 2 or 3 miles an hour faster than what your company that you're leased to allows, or if your company's requiring this camera and they install this, it's not bad. A female voice comes on the camera, not at a real loud volume, and says, please reduce speed. And that's it. So I left that on because you never know when it will be handy. Now, one thing I didn't like is, and I've experienced this on some Kenworths. Some Kenworths, and I'm sure other trucks have it too, have a special camera that looks at stop signs, and it'll put your stop sign, or not stop signs, speed limit signs, and it'll put a little speed limit sign on the dash. So if maybe you missed one, you can glance down at your dash and see what the speed limit is in your area. Now, you still need to be paying attention because those cameras miss speed limit signs just like people do. Sometimes they'll see one on an access road, for example, or something like that. So you still need to be paying attention, but it's just, you know, if you're driving along and maybe there's a truck in the other lane beside you and you miss a sign, hopefully it'll see it, or maybe you miss one for whatever reason. But this camera, this Samsara, seems to go off of GPS for speed limits. I don't know if they use Google Maps or what. It's usually accurate, but sometimes it's wrong if there's a construction site it doesn't know about, or things like that. It's not always 100% accurate, and a few times it gave me overspeeds when I wasn't speeding. Now, something interesting about that, I did the camera 2 different ways. I did it one week where I would try to get no violations, and I did it one week where I'd purposely try to get violations just to see what it would do. On the week I purposefully tried to get violations, it did send a text to me, which would be the equivalent of sending it to your safety department, but it didn't score me on their point system. So I don't know if I don't have the point grading system set up correctly. So it will send your safety department a safety message. Now, if you use those verbal alerts, it will warn you a couple of times before it sends them a message. So I never acquired any points, and as I said, I'm still learning this system. The software is pretty cumbersome, but I never had a point problem. I did have where I got 2 or 3 messages sent to my safety department, which in this case is me, and I looked at them and I immediately remembered, oh yeah, that was this day at this time. It seemed like it sent them pretty quick, within about 5 or 10 minutes of when the event occurred. And then it would depend on your safety department how quick they got back to you on it. So overall, I would say that I'm very impressed with this Samsara camera. For you Swift drivers that have to pick one of the 4, I would say it's my preference. My least favorite of the 4 would be the Smart Drive. Now, another thing I want to say about this camera, if you're buying it like I did for your own personal use and you're not going to give the data to the safety department, the software is very, very cumbersome. There's a website you go to for some of the settings and to access some of the stuff, and there's an app you go to for some of the settings and some of the stuff. If you're a fleet driver and you've got other drivers driving for you, there's an app that they use. You can incorporate an ELD into it if you want to. So there is a lot of great features here, but you're definitely going to have a learning curve. You're definitely going to have to call customer service, which is hit or miss. I've talked about that, and find out where's this at, where's that at. There's a lot of beta features that they're testing that you can also try out if that's something that you're interested in. But I don't think that this Samsara is going to be a horrible big bad monster, but I still go back to my original deal about that I believe the driver should be in control of the footage. Like right now, I'm sitting in a truck stop. If the truck across from me backs into me when he's backing out of his spot because he pulled in nose first, I want my camera to have it so I can show it to an officer right then. He might say I hit his truck pulling out, and then it's his word against my word. And I've got to hope another driver saw it and is willing to testify. Usually drivers will say, I didn't see anything. Whereas if I've got the footage right now, I can pull up footage for the last, they say 24 hours, but I think I can go a little further than that. I can pull up that footage and show the officer in a matter of seconds, or at the bare minimum, a minute or 2, depending on my data connection. And so it takes a lot of people out. Anytime you're involved in a safety department, they're not going to want to give you that video until they've reviewed it, until they've showed it to their legal department. And so you could be looking at a couple of days in some cases before you get that footage. By then the officer's gone, the truck driver's gone, and you're behind the 8 ball trying to figure this out. So even if, you know, and this is another thing, this is another solution. If your company just insists that you have a camera, I still recommend getting your own, even if you go get a Walmart special, so that you've got roadside footage you could show an officer. Now, you're never going to get me to like inward facing cameras, driver facing cameras, because you can't name me one instance other than, and I'll tell you the one instance, you can't name me one instance other than the one I'm about to tell you where it will ever benefit the driver. Because what they're going to do, they're going to go on there, and if they hear you open a Coke Zero can, they're going to say you were distracted. If they see you change a radio station, they're going to say you were distracted. And so I don't like inward audio. I don't like inward facing cameras. Some of them have AI technology, and if it sees you blink too many times, it'll say you're tired, and it'll send your company a notification that you're a potentially fatigued driver, and then you're on an uncomfortable phone call answering all kinds of questions. So that's my thoughts on cameras. As I said, Tuesday we're going to be doing that live. I'm certain that cameras and insurance and all of this is going to come up at some point as a viewer question, and we'll try to tackle that question more specifically then. But for now, I'm headed to California, and the weather report I saw this morning said I'm going to hit some rain. So you guys have a great day. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you Tuesday night, and then later in the week. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.